everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and I thought I would do a little abstract mixed media collage canvas today. Um, my friend Ella sent me some of these little canvases. This is a 5x7, and so I just decided to make something on one of these with the stuff that's on my desk. And these chalky finish paints from Deco Art were still sitting on my desk from the rock painting I did the other day. As you can see, I have done nothing since last Thursday, and it's now Monday. I can't get it together, people. I know a lot of people are feeling the same as me. It's just so depressing in the world. I just don't want to do anything. But I decided to force myself to do some stuff today, and I know I will feel better when as I'm creating. I know I feel better, so I need to just get get it together. People, get it together. So I'm starting out with these chalky finish paints, and that's like a very matte finish paint. I don't really care about whether it's matte or not. I just was trying to get some color onto this canvas, and I'm just literally picking my color palette based on the paints that were on my desk already. These ones have fun colors like Enchanted and New Growth and Tranquility and colors like that. Um, Basically, I had a dark olive green, a light olive green, a teal, a butter yellow, some white, and some black. I didn't end up using the black. What I used to apply the paint just sloppily was a 1-inch catalyst tool. It's like a brush with a wooden handle that has a silicone brush on it, like a spatula. It was like a spatula. And that's what I used to add that first layer of paint. And I dried it off with heat tool. I will let you guys know that during this video you're going to see some heat tool action because my editing software was really messing up on this video. And every time I tried to edit out something like, boring stuff like drawing with the heat tool, I usually edit that out. But yeah, it wouldn't let me. If I tried to cut something out, snip something out, it just took the rest of the video away. And I mean, sometimes, it's just one of those days when your editing software is being a jerk. So you're going to have to just watch that stuff. So the next thing I did, I have way too many scraps on my desk. I have this little bin where I put stuff when I'm done using it. Like I tear something off of something else, or I have some little thing on my desk that's just, I don't even know where it's from. And I put them in this bin. I also have a bigger bin that's behind me on the shelf that has the same type of stuff. And I need to do something with all this. It's out of control. So I decided to use some of these scraps, not really changing the shapes or anything about the scraps, just using them on my canvas as a collage. I love doing this. I think it's so fun. I could make so much stuff with just the junk that's on my desk, literally. Just the scraps that are around. I could spend days making all kinds of art from just those. I wouldn't even have to go get into my folders or my bins or anything. I could just, stuff just lands there, and if you sort it out and give it a home on a piece of art, then it becomes art, right? So I found some violet purples and some oranges that I thought were a good contrast to what I had in the background, as well as some neutral pieces for my collage. I took a picture of it after I haphazardly laid it out, and then now I'm going to stick it down. I'm using Liquitex matte gel medium to put this down. The background is already very matte, so everything should turn out pretty matte on this one, even after I spray it with matte spray, which I will at the end. I got a piece of scrap paper and a spray bottle, and for the thicker pieces, there's all kinds of different paper on here. There's cardstock, there's watercolor paper, there's a little piece of a postcard that I got from somewhere. There's like painty newsprint paper. There's a piece of copper metallic cardstock. There's all kinds of stuff on there in different thicknesses. And so that's why I'm using the gel matte medium and also in the thicker pieces, I spritz the back of the paper to try to kind of loosen it up. And on those pieces, I make sure that I put medium on the back of the paper as well as on the canvas to get good adhesion. For the lighter pieces, I'm not so stressed about that. I might just put it on the back of the paper. And also, as I'm building this up, there's more medium building onto the canvas as well. So it becomes just kind of intuitive, knowing when to put what glue on what. Now that one's a double-sided, I think it was a postcard at one time. It's thick. It's very thick. And actually, I saw Mary Beth Shaw. You know, she's a collage artist, and I really admire her. She's the owner of Stencil Girl Products, and she doesn't just do stencils. She uses stencils as a tool, and she creates them. But she also does a lot of collage. That's her main focus, is mixed media collage in her own personal art. And I saw her take a piece of thick paper and peel it apart. And with some of these pieces, I probably should have tried to do that. I don't know. It seems like a big pain in the booty, but she did do it, and I guess she wanted to, you know, we generally want to do this type of collage with thin paper. And sometimes even translucent papers is really nice. That little piece I just put on that's got the kind of seed shapes on it with the purples and teals, that's a piece of Yupo paper, and that's alcohol ink on it, but it's just a little scrap left over. Some of these are under paper when I use, I have a big sheet of newsprint that I've often used as underpaper, and those are just pieces that, you know, looked interesting when I changed the paper. I cut up the newsprint for maybe gel printing or paper painting later, and sometimes there's a little interesting piece, and I just kind of tear it off and put it in my bin. The one on the very first one was a super interesting piece, and a lot of it got lost, which is how it works with mixed media, you know. You put the layers on, and sometimes something that was really cool gets lost, and that's just, you just have to let that go and don't stress over it. But it was a really cool piece of paper that I have no idea where it came from. But it had that circle cut out of it, like I'd punched it, or maybe somebody sent it to me in Happy Mail and they had punched it. And you can still see that circle there, but the rest of the paper kind of in the end got sort of lost. It doesn't matter, because the end is when you care, you know. Things still show through. Even though you've covered a lot of it up, it still shows through. And I'm working on composition. I'm thinking about color. I thought I was done with my composition, but then that yellow area up at the top was really bothering me, and so I decided to find some more pieces to put in there. Sometimes these pieces are cut out pieces from some other project, like that flower shape that ends up being kind of the focal image in the middle of the canvas. I believe that was a mask. Like, you know, if you're stamping and you want to stamp multiple pieces, you need to mask the first one you stamped so that the next time you stamp over the top, you don't get your lines all mixed in. So I believe I have a stamp that's that shape, and that's the mask from when I was doing a project with that stamp. And it was left, you know, it was left over, and it looks great on my, as my focal image on my canvas. So I was like, cool. But I did need to get something up at that top part, and I didn't want to completely change the color, so I found some different oranges and yellows type scrap paper to put up there in little pieces. So I'm done with my collage. I'm happy with that. Oh no, I'm not. I did add in a few little text scraps, just little teeny tiny text scraps. I like to add text to my collages. I think it's an interesting graphic look when you add in some text. So I did do that as well, just in a few places, making sure everything's stuck down. Oftentimes, if I put paper in one area, I need to put it in another area. Like, I started off with the little piece just at the end of that rainbowy looking piece. and then I'm like, I need to put it other places. So that's kind of how it works. And that's also intuitive, you know. Somebody was asking me the other day, do I have collage classes? Do I have mixed media collage classes? That's probably a good idea. But I do offer all this free content. And, you know, the ways that you can help me when I offer all this free content, because I'm doing this for free, people, I'm not getting paid. You can like my video, you can comment on my video, you can share my video, you can pin on Pinterest my video, you can do all those things. And of course, also, if you'd like to help me monetarily, you can donate to my channel, which there is a PayPal donation button. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. You just click on that and use your credit card, probably would be the easiest way to just donate a few bucks to my channel. That's helpful. But all those things help my channel because I'm providing free content. And people also ask me, why are you providing free content? Well, I like to share art. I like to share what I'm doing. I like to try to help people get inspired to do their own art. But sometimes I really feel like it's a struggle. Like there's all these people out there who want content and I just don't feel like making it, you know? That happens. And right now is kind of one of those times. So the next thing I did was to add a little bit of texture paste. That's golden light molding paste, which it dries pretty quickly, especially with the heat tool. As you can see, I would normally cut out this heat tool part so you didn't have to watch me dry something. But my editing software wouldn't do that today. So those are raised areas, and I used a stencil to do that. That stencil was designed by Kat Kerr for Stencil Girl Stencil Club, and it's one of the mark making ones that she designed, which I thought was kind of cool. I liked the idea of something raised because this is pretty textural, this canvas is, because it's got a lot of different thicknesses of paper. So you've got high spots, low spots, and I thought it would be nice to have even more texture. So I just added a few spots of that texture paste. Remember when you're using texture paste with the stencil to go wash the stencil right away. And I did, and you might have actually noticed that the video, I wasn't there for a second or two. This is sped up, so it's not as long as it actually took, you know, but I couldn't cut that part out because my software wouldn't let me do it. It's probably time for new software, but I hate learning new things, and I haven't found anything that's super easy. And I mean, I guess I don't hate learning new things. That's not quite correct, but it's just like, this works, you know? This works. Yeah. Why does it become obsolete and old, and then they won't update it anymore, and then it starts acting stupid, and then you have to go do something else. It's like, sometimes it just makes me grumpy. So now I'm using those same colors that I have still left on my palette to kind of blend everything together. So the colors were in the background, now the colors are coming back into the foreground and lightening and darkening different areas to get just to, I don't know, unify everything so that it doesn't look like I glued a bunch of stuff down and then left it. I'm also doing some dripping, which is often very fun, with the same types of colors, but these are acrylic inks. And one India ink. The white was the India ink. Then I used a yellow from Matisse acrylic inks, and I used kind of an olivey green, similar to the color that's underneath down at the bottom. And I'm trying to highlight those textures. That's the reason that and also I like dripping. It's fun. I think dripping is awesome. So, because you can't control what it does. You can a little bit, but mostly you can't. And so I thought that was fun. Dripping is always fun. So now everything is pretty unified, right? It's all looking like it needs more definition, right? It needs something. I added a little bit more of that white paint on top of the shapes so that they could stand, there's darker in the back, lighter in the front so that they could stand out. And then I started to refine what I was doing. I wanted this red violet color to stand out because it's a big contrast to the yellowy greens in the background. That's the contrasting color. And I also like the orange. So I've got coppers and oranges. There's some copper thread in there, which you'll be able to see in the close-ups at the end. But I needed to highlight some of the shapes. So I'm using Arteza acrylic markers. I used the magenta one and the orange one, and I added them here and there and then blended them with a water brush to kind of highlight a few areas and to give your eye a place to travel. You want your eye to travel around the canvas and not fall off the edge. So if you make a composition that just starts somewhere and ends up another spot, your eye doesn't continue to look at things. It's like it slides off and I'm done, So there needs to be some areas of interest. And that's what I'm doing. Here's a fine tip white Posca pen. I added some light into the center of that flower. And then it is time to add some shadow. And I'm using the Stabilo All pencil. This is a highly water reactive pencil. So I'm doing mark making, and then I am blending my mark making and making it more watery with the water brush to make it, because everything on here is kind of blurred and watery because I've got the drips and everything. And so I wanted to continue with that type of a theme, but do it with a pencil. So I didn't use, like, say, a Posca pen, which would be a very hard line, or a Faber-Castell pen or something, a very hard line. I wanted it to be dreamy and fluid. I added some shadows around the flower. I kind of duplicated some of those seed shapes, pod shapes in the center there. I added some shadows on some of the lines so that I've got a 1/3, 2/3 intersection there where it's kind of dark. And I highlighted some of the shapes of the texture by going around with that watery black as well, letting things drip down. I'm very happy with this. I think it's a fun canvas, and I wish it was bigger. But you could just take a pin and stick it right onto the wall. So it's a fun little thing. And I have a lot of these little canvases that were given to me in Happy Mail. So I'll probably make some more of these because I don't have a lot of big projects I have to do this month, although I do have some more than I signed up for some responsibilities so that it would force me to do some stuff. So here I am drying it off again, and there will be pictures very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.